Hey guys, today we're going to cover what you need to know about the TSP in order to build and maintain lasting wealth. Some of the topics we're going to cover include, just generically speaking, what the TSP is, what the investment options are inside it. We'll also get into the costs and why I recommend investing in the TSP. And for those of you that say there's no such thing as a free lunch, I'm going to tell you that for some of you, not all, but for some of you, there is a way that you can get access to some free money. So stick around and we'll cover that in a minute. All right, so what is the TSP? Well, it stands for the Thrift Savings Plan. And simply put, it's just a retirement account, similar to a 401k plan, if you know what that is. All a retirement plan is, I just like to think of it as a backpack, honestly. Oh boy, stream crossing. Okay, all a retirement account is it's essentially just a backpack that you can put different investments in, and you're just telling Uncle Sam, hey, whatever's in this backpack, I want you to treat differently for tax purposes, because I'm being a responsible adult and I'm setting money aside for my future. Who can contribute is a good question, right? So military and federal employees are eligible to contribute to the Thrift Savings Plan. For those of you that have an IRA, an individual retirement account, you can also contribute to the TSP, and you're able to max out both your TSP and IRA contributions. They don't affect one another. As far as investment options, you have a series of mutual funds. For those that don't know what a mutual fund is, just think of it as a kind of a grab bag or basket of either various stocks or bonds or some combination of those, and just enables you to buy a whole host of various companies without having to go and buy them individually. So just an easier, simpler, more efficient way to do it. So in the TSP, you have essentially 5 core funds, right? There's the C, S, and I fund, okay? Charlie, Sierra, India. Those are all stock funds, right? And then you have the F and the G fund, and those are both bond funds. All right, and then in addition to the 5 core holdings, you also have the various L funds, which stands for life cycle funds. And all those are just a fund of funds. So they're comprised of various combinations of the CS, I, F, and G, and they have a date associated with them, right? So like the L 2040, 2050, etc. And how that works is you would essentially select the fund date that is closest to your retirement date. It's kind of a set it and forget it option. I'm going to cover them in detail I'm going to cover all the funds in detail in another video. There'll be a link up here somewhere at some point. But long story short is they're just a predetermined ratio of the underlying funds, and they adjust as time goes on to become more conservative. When you contribute to the TSP, you have a couple different options. You can either contribute to the traditional TSP or the Roth TSP, okay? And the only difference there is how or when the money is being taxed, right? So in the case of a traditional TSP, you're not taxed on that money that you put in, right? So you get a tax break up front. However, when you pull that money out, not only what you put in, but also any of the growth, that's all going to be taxed, okay? With a Roth account, the money that you put in has already been taxed, and so when you pull it out, down the road for retirement, that money will not be taxed. For most people, and what I personally do, I'd say for most people, the Roth makes a lot of sense. And if you want me to cover that in more detail, you just let me know, drop a comment, and let me know what videos you want to see, what's going to be beneficial for you. While we're on the topic of the traditional versus Roth option, I want to mention that if you're part of the BRS, the blended retirement system, and I will do another video on that completely separate. I'll put the link up here at some point whenever that's filmed. But long story short, if you contribute to a Roth TSP, your matching and automatic contributions from Uncle Sam are still going to be put in a traditional TSP. It's just how the system works. Nothing you can do about it. And at the end of the day, it's still free money. So I'm not going to complain. For those of you in a higher income bracket, perhaps you have some investment properties, or maybe you have a spouse that's a doctor or a lawyer or something. If you're in a higher bracket and you can't contribute to a Roth IRA, don't worry, the TSP doesn't have any income limits, so you can always contribute to the TSP. Okay, so how much can you contribute to the TSP on an annual basis? So it changes every few years, but as of now, 2020, you can contribute up to $19,500 a year. Now, if you're part of the BRS and you're getting the matching or automatic contributions, those contributions don't count towards your $19,500 limit. So any of those contributions will just be in addition to what you're already putting in. Okay, so that's how much you can set aside. Now the question becomes, how much should you set aside? 15% minimum is a good amount to set aside for retirement. Obviously, there's a lot of individual circumstances that you want to take into account, but just as a ballpark, rule of thumb, 15% is a good number to start with. Now, that might seem unrealistic for some. It just completely depends upon your situation. If you can't do 15%, well, start with 5% and just slowly build your way up. And for the military members out there, you got to remember that's 15% of your total gross income, right? So you got to factor in BAH, BAS, flight pay, whatever. You got to factor all that in, total it up, and you're shooting for 15% of that total number. All right, so why should you invest in the TSP? Simply put, because you can't afford not to, all right? I assume everyone here wants to live a comfortable retirement, maybe travel the world. I don't know, maybe you want to go buy an island or a yacht or something crazy. I don't know the secrets that you keep while you're talking in your sleep, but I do know, that all of us want to, have a reasonably comfortable retirement, right? And so to do that, the simplest way is by simply setting aside a little bit of money each month, right? Sacrifice a little bit of now for tomorrow. It's about striking a balance between current you and future you, all right? And I think most of us would agree that, you don't want to wake up, 20, 30 years down the road and future you sitting there going, man, what the heck, I should have thought about this a little while ago. All right, so another question is, when can I take the money out? Short answer is when you're 59 and a half years old. Don't ask me why the IRS threw another half a year in there, whatever. So essentially when you retire, right? Can you get the money earlier? Yes. Do I recommend it? No. Okay, a couple reasons. One, if you're pulling it out, it's not in there growing for you, right? And the longer you can have it sitting there growing, the more money you're gonna have, right? And then the second reason is you're gonna be paying a 10% penalty in addition to any of the income taxes that you would owe on that money. Oh, also technically speaking, there is an option to take a TSP loan. Once again, I don't recommend that either, because while you're taking that loan, that money's not in the markets working for you, making more money. So the goal here is get the money in the TSP and then let that money sit, all right? Let it sit and grow for the next 20, 30 years. All right, so another question is, how much does the TSP cost? And to be honest, it's dirt cheap. Well, perhaps that's a bad metaphor to use, since anyone that's ever put in a raised garden bed knows dirt is not cheap, but you get the idea, all right? So the expense ratio of the average TSP fund is 0.042%. Okay, what does that translate into? 42 cents per year for every $1,000 you have invested. That's really cheap. I mean, even if you compare like let's say 0.5% fee, right? You're still, over the lifetime of investing, you're still going to come out literally a couple $100,000 ahead, which is mind-blowing, right? But I'll show you in another video the math on that. Okay, so how do we contribute to the TSP? Really simple. You set it up through MyPay. You log in on the left-hand side of the screen. There'll be an option to set your TSP allocation. You'll select either traditional or Roth. You can change that at any point if you decide you want to do, switch to the other down the road for whatever reason. But you want to make sure that you have a good mailing address down in that window that pops up, because the TSP, the first time that you set up your account, they are going to mail you 2 or 3 pieces of paper, so an account number and a temporary password or PIN, and you're going to need that information in order to log in on tsp.gov and create your account. Another question might be, can I contribute additional money, right? Like, could you link your checking account and make a deposit or write them a check? And the answer there is no. Unfortunately, it has to come out of your pay. The only exception would be if you're trying to transfer money in from another retirement plan. So maybe you worked in the private sector before joining the military and you have a 401k, a 403b or something. The only type of account that I know of that you can't transfer money in from is a Roth IRA. So if you have a Roth IRA somewhere else, just go ahead and keep it, let it sit tight. All right, guys, I told you I'd tell you how to get free money, right? Really easy to do. If you are part of the blended retirement system, all you need to do is start contributing to the TSP. It's literally that simple. If you contribute, Uncle Sam will match you, right? So you put in 5% of your base pay, Uncle Sam will be giving you a 5% match. Technically, it's a 1% automatic and a 4% match, but all you need to know is you put in 5% of your base pay, Uncle Sam puts in 5%. That's literally doubling your money without taking any risk. I don't know of any other investment that does that. All right, if you haven't done so already, highly recommend that you log into MyPay, set up your TSP contribution, right? Minimum 5%. That'll get you the maximum match, all right? And start getting yourself some free money, all right? All right, guys, if you found today's video useful or even remotely entertaining, then consider subscribing, hit that like button, go ahead and drop a comment in the box below. Let me know what other videos you would like me to do for you, what topics would be beneficial, and then share it with a friend, right? And if you didn't like today's video, you should still share it with a friend. All joking aside, this is a personal passion of mine. Absolutely love sharing this with people because I've seen time and time again how it can completely change one's life for the better. And so yeah, help me, help you, and help others build and maintain lasting wealth. All right, till next time, see ya.